Come on.
Oh, that's funny.
Crazy, man.
Come on. I got Richard
But we got an
Valley
AK. We got an AK,
RBR
AK
that
version.
came out in 2004, and it has mouse support. Oh, and by the way, that was a console game. Hello.
I mean, freaking Doom came out in like the 90s.
Doom, damn, you went that far.
I mean, like I think Sim City, and like I don't even know how to freaking mouse.
I'm telling you, man, Oregon Trail had a damn mouse, bro. Come on.
Not saying, just saying.
I'm just
Sorry,
saying.
Eric. Sorry, Eric.
Hello and welcome to the Chicane Podcast, where we discuss all things in the sim racing world. I'm your host, Jason Rivera, and I'm joined here by Eric Kelly and Jeff Smart. How's everybody doing today?
Good, man.
I'm doing good. Ready to get into it here. We got a new toy. The crowds are, I know everybody's been having me here talking about me waiting to pull the trigger, but we got a nice new toy.
Look at that.
Hey.
And it's here and not on the rig because me and my infinite stupidity
What?
thought I had the right QR for it. And turns out Simagic makes two hubs, QRs, and I have the small one. And
Well, okay. I can't let him do this to himself on camera. So I told Jeff, I was like, hey, man, I have this extra QR because, you know, I got a GT Neo and I put an NRG quick release and it was extra. And I was like, hey, man, you have a Simagic base. This will be great for you because you could just plug it in, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, but even though you're going to use Simagic SimHub anyway with the wheel, so that's kind of irrelevant. But you told me that wheel was universal, or that the mount was universal. So I was like, okay, well, universal means that they have both patterns, and apparently not.
Hey, listen, I was more worried about like the color combination that I wanted, and
well, it's here. That's the most important thing, is the journey for that thing to get there.
Looks like $1 million. Just can't do anything with it right now. So we're picking up
and I hope
QR
it works
tomorrow.
When he plugs it in too. I was thinking about that.
Don't throw that on me, Richard Bobby. Okay.
Well, that's what's up, man. I mean, you got your.
I'm excited. I'll be tied to this thing for the weekend.
You got your trophy wheel, bro. That's what you got. That's your trophy.
That's a sexy looking wheel right there.
That's your trophy. So today's gonna be chill. We got a few updates here. The Soul Pack was one of them. And then Eric has some news on the F1 24 with this brand new PS5 Pro PC price specs going. So I'll give this to him. Eric, what's up? What's going on in the Sony world, in the PlayStation world?
Yeah. So in the PlayStation bubble, the PS5 Pro is, upon us. It'll come out in November. But right now, a lot of places are getting hands-on with it, and Digital Foundry recently got a chance to check out some games. Gran Turismo is one of them, but the most surprising one for them was F1 24. They said the upgrades it got just visually, made the game look leaps and bounds better, played a lot smoother. They even said it had an 8K 60 mode, which was crazy.
8K 60.
Yeah. And
I just find all right.
Go ahead, man. I was gonna say nobody's talked about F1 24 for a reason. Talking to you guys, well, you let me know why.
Here's the thing,
Jeff. Didn't we cover this about F1 24? Didn't we?
Did.
Didn't we tell them about the sales of the game and they just put more time into the graphics? What is wrong with you?
And I appreciate it. But if they're listening, which they're probably not.
No, they're not listening.
The playability, we need it to be more realistic, like the braking model. All those are more. The graphics are great. I think they're awesome. But the driving sucks.
Yeah, the physics are trash. Yeah. And you still can't use a mouse in the game. And it's 2024. Come on.
Crazy.
Come on.
Oh, that's funny.
Crazy, man.
Come on, I got Richard
but we got
Valley
an AK
RBR
AK
that
version.
Came out in 2004, and it has mouse support. Oh, and by the way, that was a console game. Hello.
Hey.
I mean, freaking Doom came out in like the 90s.
Doom, damn, you went that far.
I mean, like I think Sim Sim City, and like I don't even know how to freaking mouse.
I'm telling you, man.
Oh,
Oregon
man.
Trail had a damn mouse, bro. Come
Oh
on.
man.
Not saying, just saying.
I'm just
Sorry,
saying.
So
Eric. Sorry, Eric.
at
Back
least
on
you
track
cannot
here.
have a
I know,
mouse
Eric. We
at
just
8K.
took over. Like
8K. All right.
Nah, I knew where it was gonna go because when I brought it up, I realized I was like, I've heard nothing. I've heard about Sport. I've heard about LMU. I've heard every other racing game. You hear stuff about crickets on F1, and it turns out nobody's playing it. So that makes that makes sense.
yeah,
But that's all I got.
And
For
here's the
F1
thing, Eric,
24.
and to close on the F1 topic, the F1 24, because we love F1, but F1 24, no. But, to close on that is, my thoughts are F1 games is a yearly release. So we are, when did it come out? It came out in May. So we are past this halfway cycle by the time the PS5 Pro comes out in November. What do we got? Another 8 months for the next game to come out? I mean,
They ain't fixed nothing.
they haven't fixed a thing. They're working on graphics, visuals. They're talking about ray tracing. The game has ray tracing on PC right now, and it's done nothing for the sales. Jeff Smart went into detail about the table, and it's the worst selling game ever, like F1 game, at only 100,000 copies.
Yeah, it's falling off, man.
That's
I mean, I hope
pennies.
that F1 takes the license and gives it to somebody that's more responsible with it.
iRacing or hell, even GT7 would be nice to have F1 cars in there. I mean,
Yeah.
because they're focused on the money is what they're focused on, and console, a game that's on console and PC is going to make the most money. That is the truth. That's hands down. Because you're touching
Really?
all the markets. Yeah, hands down.
Yeah.
But anyways, enough of that. I have a small, well, rather large update on EA WRC. I know I knocked it before, and I ended up reinstalling it because I just couldn't help it no more. And I just said, let just make peace with myself and hope for the best, and just don't do anything crazy on your PC.
If they want your data, they're gonna get it.
They probably got my data anyway, and along with yours too. So just just be the best human you can possibly be. But I'll go over the updates. It's actually a very good sign, right? Because they're not releasing another game. They're titling this expansion EA WRC 24, but they're not making you buy a brand new game. So they're adding more stuff. They're building something EA has never done before. They usually release a game every year, and once you're done with that game and the year goes by, it kind of fades away. So I'll read a few changes here to make it quick. They have 2 stages coming to EA Sports WRC 2024. It's called Latvia and Poland stages, right? We also have both locations will have 12 new challenging stages, so they'll have 12 each. And then there's new cars coming. So we got the Ford Puma Rally 1 Hybrid 24. All these cars are from this year, 2024, which is nice. So you got updated cars. The Hyundai i20, the Toyota GR Yaris Rally 1. And for WRC2, you have the Yaris and Rally 2. And for the junior, you have the Ford Fiesta Rally 3 Evo. And then it says, in addition, the locations and car pack will include 52 liveries, new liveries, and 104 drivers and co-drivers from 2024 WRC season. It says the new cars will be followed by 2 themed content packs, starting with the Maestros pack launching in winter. This pack will add 2 new routes to the existing locations. I'm going to butcher this name right quick. Here we go. Brian Canet, Rally Monte Carlo. I know how to say that. And Vodafone Rally of Portugal. Set in Monte Carlo, it features 14.55 kilometers of road with narrow bridges, tight hairpins, and S Bends to test your skills. And it's located in the North Portugal. Faith is what they're calling it. Is famous for its huge jumps. Then it goes on. Finally, the Hard Chargers pack will bring 2 new updated stages in spring 2025. So that's quite a break from, the from the 2 packs, and it's going to include Umea in Rally Sweden and Harvati in Acropolis Rally Greece. And then there's more content to be revealed, blah, blah, blah. And yes, the expansion comes out October 8th. Each pack will be available to buy separately or as part of an EA Sports WRC 24 season bundle. We don't have pricing details at the time of this recording. Okay, so if there's any updates to this, I will send out a note via YouTube and also on all my social platforms. So stay tuned with this one. So that's all I have for the WRC. So over to you, Eric.
Yeah, that you
Can I get a question?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Question
for
hey,
sure.
How much comparatively WRC to F1? What do the numbers look like? Which one's more popular?
That is a good thing that we can go to our trusty dandy Google real quick. Hold on one second.
Because it's interesting that they're both pushing out updates when, from the last couple episodes ago, we're kind of told that EA potentially could lose the F1 license, but they keep pushing out the content. And, I'm not a rally guy.
I got some numbers here. I mean,
go ahead.
And this is quick. I just looked this up and may not be 100%, but it says that the gross revenue was 7.6 million. Is what they're talking about with Steam stats. We're not even counting console. So as far as the game on Steam, let me look that up. And while I do that, let's move over to the next topic, Eric, and I'll update you guys.
Yeah. So keeping in line with updates, LMU got you might call it a humongous update. They're calling it their September update. And just to kind of hit the top, like I said, this is huge. They have some new features. They're adding a co-op game mode, and they are also adding save and load for a race weekend. And they're updating the car selection screen. Also, they've added 2024 and 2023 WC seasons, and also the car settings manager, which saves seat positions uniquely per car.
Thank God, bro.
Yeah. So those are some things that if you play Le Mans Ultimate, might be of interest to you. Some other things that are less visible, but some things you might feel they've updated the code so it's more stable now. It says they fixed several invalid memory access issues causing crashes, fixed some other crash issues. They reworked the AI logic with regards to fuel management in races to prevent them from running out of fuel. Ensure AI drives slower at the end of the race when returning to the pits. Also fix some other AI things, and AI now wait for a safe pit release. So sounds like AI might have been ramming into you.
The AI is crazy in that they would straight up hit you in the pit lane and cut you off too. I was like, what is going on?
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they heard y'all's cry and
yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Well, I have some updates on the WRC real quick, just to put that on a pause. So in a 24-hour, this is Steam data, because console is kind of hard to get that data. I don't think they share it like that. So currently, at the time of this recording, there's 220 players online. In the 24-hour peak, it was peaking at 838 players online at one time. And the all-time peak was 4,538 players at the same time. It has 19,000 followers. It's got more positive reviews than negative. So it's got 4,500 positive reviews and 2,800 negatives. So it's about a 61% roughly. And yeah, that's about it for analytics on the game. It's doing well. It could be doing better, but it's not F124, so that's,
Yeah. What did it say? How many units or so?
So units sold, I can't find this data right away. I might update that in the description. So if you guys are interested in hearing more of hard facts on this game, check the description. But yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Curious about that because I'm always like, money is one thing, but then it's like how many units they move. That's always interesting to me. But yeah, back to the LMU updates. Some more stuff that Jason might appreciate. They updated the physics. So they added soft fall off the battery usage as it becomes empty or full to prevent large shifts in car behavior as regeneration or propulsion stops.
Nice.
And they say they fixed the virtual energy estimates being displayed incorrectly when using kilowatt hours. They updated the graphics, so minor updates of the sky and terrain shaders, and also they fixed and improved logging around managing the application of weather and session changes online to address the occasional scene overexposure. So graphics updates are always welcome. They updated the HUD, added a force feedback meter, made track map outline a bit thinner, and fixed normal server disconnects like when leaving and being detected as erroneous or unexpected disconnects. So a lot of quality of life stuff here. They
Yeah,
also updated
man.
they updated the UI, several things, fixed a lot of stuff, like world flag displaying too large. Just really, you can tell they've been in like the Discord and the forums, just seeing what people have been complaining about and kind of pouring through them. Also, they made an update to VR. So they fixed the issue with MSA8 not functioning in VR, fixed the HUD so it works in VR, and fixed the UI so it works in VR. So it sounds like VR was terrible, to be honest. Um, and,
Yeah.
and then, so as far as content goes, they added some tracks. So they fixed some tracks. These are still fixes. Algarve International Circuit. They fixed some stuff. Autodromo Enzo, Edino Ferrari, Imola, basically. Monza, Bahrain, the
All of
Milan track.
them.
Yeah, they're going through everything, man. Circuit of Americas. This is their
Coda.
initial release. The Fuji Raceway, Sebring International Race, Spa. So they touched a lot of stuff here, and then they just fixed a bunch of stuff on cars. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a huge
It's
update.
good. I mean, I like to see that because it sounds like the game is finally getting ready for final release.
Yeah.
I
A
got in
year later.
there. Yeah, I know, right? Damn near. I got in there last night, and this is before the update, and the game was running pretty good. So I'm kind of curious on they improved it even further. So we'll see. Definitely.
Yeah.
How's it
Oh,
going over there?
so before I forget, kind of the important piece. So the title of this, if you're going to download it, is the DLC 2 content pack. It costs $12.99, and it adds the Alpine A424 and the
Yep.
Isotta Fraschini Tipo 6 hypercars, as well as the Circuit of Americas. So yeah, so I think Le Mans is ready for release.
I think so. I think they need to release the game already. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
there's a
is it.
big focus. The developer came out on the YouTube channel. I follow their LMU social media, and they were
Mhm.
talking about the PlayStation 5 Pro on how it could take advantage of a lot of the stuff they're putting out. And
Yeah,
it seems to have their interest. I mean, like I said before, man, consoles, if you want money, you need to get on the console side as well. You need to include everybody. You can't
yeah,
just sell hot dogs. You need to sell hamburgers and the French fries.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's a lot more viable because the power wise, like the PS5 Pro, they say it's tracking closer to a 3070 as far as power goes.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah, and for a
also,
single monitor, yeah, it could definitely
yeah,
handle. You
yeah,
know,
and then also you kind of have, you got the Pro SKU and the base PS5 Pro, but they're hardware wise, they're pretty much the same, just different GPUs. But with them dropping off last gen, no more PS4 stuff. That really helps them out. Fewer targets, and you can work on making your game run and look as best possible.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's LMU for you.
Yep.
I have high hopes for the game. We've banged it off the head a little bit because of the money, but honestly,
Yeah.
an update like this is what I want to see. I don't want to see an update where you're going to sell me something. I want to see an update where you're fixing things and you're adding features and you're getting it ready. So, in my opinion, that kind of merits the extra cost just a little bit. Now, I'm totally not on board, but I can comfortably say the game's in a good state right now because I played it before the patch, and I'm pretty sure the patch is going to be even better. So
yeah, sound like they're on the right track for sure.
it's $32.99 right now on Steam. So
Okay.
if you want the base game early release, if you wait, it's going to go up to full price. I don't know if it's like $70,
Okay.
I think, something like that.
Hmm.
So, but anyways, I'm gonna pass this next section over to Jeff. He's got a few F1 things to cover. He's he's full of adrenaline from that Singaporean GP. I tell you,
still riding a high.
he's still pumped up.
So this happened a while ago, but we're just kind of getting around to clean, a little housekeeping on F1 news. Most people are already tracking, but Adrian Newey is officially headed to Aston Martin. Those that don't know, he is like the aerodynamic guru for all of F1. He's the GOAT. Yeah, let's call it what it is here. He's the GOAT. Wherever this guy goes, winning follows. I mean, it is.
He's the reason Red Bull's winning right now. And let's not even talk about the memes, Jeff.
Dude,
you know what I'm talking
about? Dude, the internet wins all the time. The one that I saw that was.
I know. Dude, that was. I was dead, bro.
Yo, Eric, this is so funny, right? It was a picture of a gorilla like trying to use a hammer to hit a nail, and then a saw trying to cut a piece of wood with a saw, and it was what you thought it was going to look like, right? And then the caption was Red Bull without Adrian Newey.
Dude, it was so bad. Like,
it was. Yeah, I mean, if you're Red Bull, it's not a good. The future does not look good, right? The car's struggling.
Even right now, yeah.
And they're just. Yeah, if you were an investor, I would not be investing in Red Bull, right, or F1. Their future just is not heading in the right direction. If you want my opinion,
the days are numbered, big time. Even though they got an
good,
amazing driver, they do. I mean,
they ruined it F1 for like a year. But honestly, I heard I forget where I heard this, but Adrian apparently doesn't like use computers. He does everything paper and pencil. And I guess I respect it. He's an old dude, right? He's out there.
Yeah. He's old school. Yeah.
But doesn't trust computers. He's probably got a slide rule and a pencil or a pocket protector. But hey, dude, the dude knows speed. He knows aerodynamics. But anyways, so I think that's enough on that. That's cool.
He's a damn genius, that guy.
Yeah, if you're an Aston Martin fan, then
let's go, man.
You're
Fernando.
excited. I know.
Fernando, let's go.
Yeah, hopefully he'll get maybe one more go at it in a competitive car before he hangs it up. So, so that's a quick one. This one is, I think, switching gears to the next topic here. Hopefully this one will help our fellow listeners out with racing. So, this is to kind of Eric, Jason, and I'll ask any of the listeners because I'm reaching for straws here, grasping for straws. So, when I qualify. We're talking about iRacing here in the rig, not F1. But when I'm qualifying, I qualify towards the front of the field. And when I am in open track, I can run fast. I can catch up to the person in front of me or pull away from the person behind me. But when I get close to somebody, I get sloppy. And I don't know why that happens. Or if I have somebody that is absolutely faster than me pull up behind me, I just get, for lack of a better word, I don't know what the right word is. I just get sloppy and make mistakes. What can I do to stay in my limits when people get nowhere? Because like you, bad things happen when you're pushing past your limits. But how can I be a better driver when people are around me and keep my speed but keep in my limits?
So I'm gonna take a stab at this first, real quick, because there's a lot that goes on. Because this happens to me, but it happens in reverse. I usually completely destroy the qualifying lap. I don't qualify well, and when I do, it's if it's a track that I know super well, you know what I mean, and I'm so
Mhm.
comfortable on the track. But to answer your question, man, it has a lot to do with your brain and your thinking on the track. So when you're by yourself, especially in iRacing, it's usually a lone qualify. You're not worried about cars coming up to you. You're not worried about people bumping you. It's just you and the track. For me, it's kind of like I'm the type of sim racer that likes to race under pressure. If I don't have pressure behind me or in front of me, then I start doing lackluster things, right? To try and not, because I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I'm entering a corner and I'm like, I don't want to mess this up. I'm in the lead. And then I enter the next corner. I don't want to mess this up. I'm in the lead. And I get slower and slower and slower. And then somebody passes me. And then it just turns on. I'm like, I got to get back into the lead. I need to get back into the lead. You know what I'm trying to say? That's what happens to me. The way I fix that is I just try and forget that there's cars on track. I know that's super hard. If there's a car in front of you, you tend to look at the bumper and you're following the entire line because
Dude,
you're
exactly.
you're following this guy so close that you don't see the track around him most of the time, let
Like if
alone
they
if
get
it's
track limits, I'm getting track limit. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
kind of
I
get
mean,
sucked in. Yeah,
it it's honestly, I mean, I know this is probably vague and probably cheesy, but it's practice. You need to practice more. You need to know where you're at all times on the track. So I think it happens on particular tracks. Is my opinion? That's an opinion. Everything is opinionated, right? I don't want to sound like I'm an expert, but that's what goes on with Jason on track. You know what I'm saying? And the way I fix it is I just try and forget that because think about it, Jeff. Let's say this is happening to you, and then you end up in a wreck, or you go off track and you hit the wall. The rest of the race, you don't screw up no more because you're not worried. You're not thinking about it no more. It's already done. You already know you lost the race. You already know you messed up your race. You might as well drive it through, and you end up breaking speed. What do you call this? Your lap times. You end up improving, and it's because it's so busy up here. It's super busy up here. You need to do your best. We need to do our best to know the track, know the limits, and forget about the guy that's in front of you. Concentrate more on not hitting him than following him. That's what I
Okay.
would say. Yeah.
yeah. And I'll ask this too. I know even on GT7, just driving behind people, like dirty air, kind of can change up. Just like the kind of driving
Mm-hmm.
dynamics of your car. So I know I've noticed that because I have the same struggle. Granted, I'm not near as fast. I'm usually in the driving with the scrubbiest of the scrubs, like other guys that don't know how to drive. So
Nah, man. Didn't
it's
you get a
really
silver, bro,
Yeah.
the other day?
Yeah. You
I
just
heard
were
you.
saying,
hey yeah hey I got another one, but that
I
was on a
remember
time
what you said,
trial.
bro. That
Yeah,
was that was that
so
was
that
not too
hey
long ago.
that's why I said I'm in the same boat, man. If I'm time trial, like I'm doing good, but as soon as I kind of get into like a battle with other cars, and I've been kind of confused about whether it's really me or if the guys that I'm driving with are all just so like rough around the edges that there's
Right.
no kind of driving etiquette, or maybe they're struggling just to get around a lap as well. I mean, get around the
Again,
track as well.
that's a lot of busy up here
Yeah,
while you're
yeah,
racing. You're
yeah,
thinking about, is this guy gonna hit me? is he gonna brake too hard here? You think you need to let that go. You need to let that go. For real.
Yeah, because what ends up happening is, and it's funny because I watch, I watch people stream online who are better racers, and they literally will like plan moves, and they'll like make guys do certain moves
Yep.
that are predictable in order to get a pass. It's like, okay, we got these 3 corners coming up. I'm going to fake to this side to get the guy off the line. That'll make him go into this corner slower,
Force
which
him
means he
off.
can't carry as much speed, which means I can take the inside. Like be able to plan all that stuff out, and the guy just does everything predictably. But when I'm racing, I'm like, this guy's driving like a nut, like all over the road. Like I don't know, like I want to get past him, and to me, it's like, okay, I'm going into the corner. I've got
Right.
like almost a full car length in front of you, and the guy just like comes over, like dives in. It's like, come on, bro. Like, so is
Yeah.
this? So to me, I I know on my end, it's just kind of driving with other crazy drivers. It's more difficult.
That's a good point.
I mean,
I might be subconsciously driving more conservative.
have you ever noticed this, Jeff? Have you ever noticed that you're behind somebody and you're clearly faster than them, but they're defending so hard, and then you go a few laps, you're still behind them, and then he suddenly loses the car.
Yeah.
It's like you pressured him out of the focus. You took him out of it. And even crew chief, crew chief is like, don't worry about that. I'll say it on the podcast. Don't worry about that asshole behind you. Just stay on. Bro, I'm telling you, I'm not lying. Turn on the cuss words on crew chief. He'll tell you, he'll talk to you. And that little encouragement is what, stop looking at your rear view mirrors. Because I know you do, and I do the same thing.
Oh yeah.
After every corner, rear view mirror. Every corner, rear view mirror.
True.
Stop doing that. Focus on your points. Focus on focus on the track. That's all I got to say about that one, Jeff.
That's good advice. And if anybody out there was willing to get some tips, the Chicane podcast at Gmail, throw something out. I'm listening. I'll listen. I'll take any help I can get, because that's probably my biggest
that's all
impact
of us,
right now. Is
that's all of us,
I
bro.
qualify fast. Like I think my statistics show that I qualify high and then I finish like 2 spots below it on average. So yeah, I'll take any tips.
I think that you have the pace. If you're qualifying, if you're qualifying that high, then you definitely have the pace. You just have to use that pace to your advantage. My thing is, I struggle to concentrate while I'm by myself. And it's because there's no threat around me. And I need to learn how to push myself a little harder by myself, So everybody has their own things that they're trying to work on. It's not just hardware. We already have the hardware. We're here already. It's kind of like we need to use that to our advantage. You know what I'm saying? So that's my 2 cents on that, man.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Hey, I got one more question here, since we're kind of on these topics. So I've been seeing a lot on social media of some bigger screens that people are using, even on triples. I think it's safe to say that 32 inches is kind of I don't want to say the standard, but the most common is probably the best word to use. But I'm starting to see people with rigs that are monitors that are bigger than those. Whether they're, I don't know what the next size up is, 34, 42, and then even like some bigger TVs that are people using. So, Jason, what are your thoughts on why 32 is kind of the optimal, most popular size? And, it seems like common sense says, bigger is better.
So the bigger the monitor, the further away you need to be. Because imagine staring at a 40-inch monitor at 23 inches of distance. It's going to look massive, right? You're going to be doing this. So what you need is a monitor that comes into your vision, your field of view right here. I need to be able to see the top and the bottom, and also my sides within my peripherals. Now, if you add a bigger screen, what do you need to do? You need to shift that back. So then you would need a longer Giggity. Shaft extension. You would need a longer
it's like
shaft.
4-year-olds.
You know what I'm saying? And the longer the shaft, the more strain on the motor. You put a long shaft on the motor and you bend it like this and that, eventually you're going to wear out the bearings and it's going to be expensive, you know? Yeah. So why 32-inch? Versatility. It's versatile. You can add 3 of them. They don't take too much space, right? Because space is a constraint on most people's setups. And you can put the monitor that close to you and have that experience. The moment you start going over that size, you're going to have to either put the motor in front of the monitor or install a shaft extension to come out like that. But again, there's a trade-off. There's a trade-off. So, I mean, performance-wise, doesn't really change anything. Lap times doesn't change anything because when you add size, when you're talking about 32 inches versus 40, 42, the only thing you're going to get is the up and down, which doesn't really help. The track is still here. You know, you're in the cockpit and you have your window. Your window is like this size.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? For you to see a significant difference, you would have to go up to a 70-inch TV or 65 so that can go like that. But again, you're going to need to shove that all the way back. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do.
And it's just, do you have the space? Do you have the money?
The cost too.
Yes. So 32-inch, the limitations of a 32-inch is one, motion platforms. You want to put a motion platform on your rig. You cannot have the monitors sit under the shaft. You're gonna hit it. It's gonna go in a million pieces. on turn 1, and you already know how we feel about turn 1. So yeah, so if your plan is to go motion, stay away from 32. If you're not going motion and haptics, even a seat mover, 32 is the perfect size. It's versatile and it's how do you say this? Affordable. So Eric, what do you think? What do you think about monitor size? What are you running back there, by the way? I know you got a single, but what you got? Because 27 used to be the gold standard, Jeff. 27.
Yeah, I've seen that's popular too.
Yeah. So I actually have a 28-inch 4K Samsung monitor. Used to be my monitor at my desk here, but I upgraded to a 34-inch widescreen, which I have thought about trying on my rig just to see if I like it, but I know I will, so there's no point in.
I'm like,
no point even playing myself.
But
so until I can replace that one, which I'm kind of at the point where I don't know. We know it's a rabbit hole. I'm like, do I want a whole new rig? Like, what do I want? And right now, it's like get a PC and then go down that hole.
Yes, you need to start with the brain first, the mother.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know what, Jeff? Sorry, Eric. Your rig is totally fine, dude. You know what you would need?
Exactly.
You would need a monitor stand. That's all, or an integrated. Or if you want to save room, just get an integrated stand that connects to it and go with an ultra wide, and that'll give you enough of the cockpit to be competitive, right? Yeah. I never said on this show that you need to have triple screens to be competitive. Triple screens allow for more immersion, but it's kind of nice to be able to see the car side by side and know how far along he is.
Yeah, Eric's like, I can check my rear with VR. He's like, I can spin all the way around and see the cars.
You're gonna break your damn neck checking the rear, Jeff. You're gonna snap your neck off, bro.
Yeah, that looking, be able to look side to side and see the car, and I mean, the VR is awesome. But just so I can, have more options. The PC is definitely way to go. But 32, I definitely feel like 32 is it's probably the sweet spot, especially for what you were saying, because the fact that the monitor, whatever you get, has sit on top of your actual motor. You're only going to be increasing the vertical for the most part.
Yes.
And then so thinking about heat, thinking about all of that.
Because the bottom wouldn't change. Because the monitor will start here. So if you go any higher, it's going to go higher and higher and higher and higher. You're going to need a seat booster. You're going to be like one of those babies with the seat booster. You know?
And also just seating position too, like you were saying, like the sweet spot in the monitor is
Yes.
looking directly in the center of the monitor.
Yes.
Basically just moving moving that higher and higher.
You can ask Jeff. I went to his house and I was like, sit there. And I took a freaking measuring tape from his eyeball and put it on the monitor and said, this is your FOV. Now, do you have to listen to that? Absolutely not. You guys can do
it's a
whatever
starting
you
point.
Yeah, that is, that's to get you going. And then you
Mhm.
make your fine adjustments. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they have a rule of thumb in,
They have a
just
calculator, bro.
cinema.
You know what?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
put the calculator in this show. So that way
yeah,
you guys can calculate your FOV.
yeah.
It's
Like
awesome.
in
Yeah.
TVs and stuff, they use a rough estimate. Basically, they say the ideal viewing distance for a 16:9 screen is if you take that screen, turn it long ways, and lay it
Yep.
down, and that's how far away you need to be from it. Basically, to where it's in your vision, and like you said, you don't have to look up and down. You can see the whole thing in there.
Yes.
So that's a rough idea.
And then you also got to think, um, I mentioned the space as well, right?
Yeah.
But now that's a good point you brought up, Eric, because a lot of people ask me, why don't you run 4K? Why you choose 1440p? I mean, I'm running a 4090. I can definitely put out some 4K stuff and it'll be like nothing. The thing is the size and the distance.
Yeah.
So if I put a 4K monitor at the same size, I'm not going to see the difference and I'm going to pay double the price.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would have to be literally this close to see pixels on a 1440p resolution. So why not? Don't strain your system so much. Run it at 1440p because it's not easy. It's not hard. Excuse me. It's still to this day, even with state of the art hardware, CPU and GPU, running a game 3 times, rendering it 3 times is the hardest thing you can do on a computer. If you're just running one monitor, don't buy a 4090. It'll be a waste of time. Get yourself a 3080 or 4070, right? Those to stay up to date with DLSS, right? DLSS 3.0 that you get from NVIDIA cards, though, all the way. Stay away from AMD. AMD CPUs, yes, but NVIDIA has the highest support right now. That can change.
Bro, if NVIDIA, I'm changing topics a little bit, but
I know where you're going with it. I know where you're going with
God,
it.
if
NVIDIA
NVIDIA surround, it's dog shit. It's just dog shit.
It came out and they never updated it. That's what happened. Because we're niche, bro. It's not many of us.
I know.
If surround was needed for Fortnite, you damn Skippy, that would be updated. That would have been fixed, polished to death. But yeah, I love talking about this because this is where my mind was, like 32-inch, what resolution, what type of panel. You have like 3 different types of panels. What kind of refresh rate? What kind of CPU? Can it handle it? There's a lot of questions and different types of monitors. Can the angle of the monitors, when you do like that, do you lose the picture? Because that's another thing.
Yeah.
And I was telling Jeff's like, yo, check out this monitor when we were shopping. Remember, Jeff? And you're like, yo, check out this monitor. I was like, yeah, but look at our website. And thanks to Eric, this is years ago, before sim racing. Eric told me about a website called RTINGS. RTINGS. These guys, I don't know who's paying them, but the amount of data that you get from a freaking monitor to tell you if the picture is going to change angle, you don't have to go to the store. You don't have to go to the store and look at it. It's right there.
Bro, when I was picking up monitors, I was living on that. I'd like be looking at this monitor in the store, look down.
RTINGS, right away.
Yeah.
Next one over. Look up, look down. Yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah, the data at a certain point is kind of, just kind of
analysis by paralysis.
Yeah, but there are certain just kind of reviewing devices and just trying to figure out how to assess if something is good or not. Once you've seen enough reviews on just the product like TVs, you start figuring out, okay, like this is the technology that I need to be looking for. This is the baseline.
Right.
Then you start going between the manufacturers. They might call stuff different names, but it might be the same functionality. So you kind of start figuring out, okay, I need to at least have VR support. I need to at least have 1440p. It does
G-Sync.
not need to be a VA panel at any cost. It needs to be IPS. If you're a baller, it can be OLED. Like, so you just kind of,
So
it
that's
can
the
be
thing right there.
daunting, but yeah.
So I will say this, Eric. These monitors behind me are VA panels. And why did I go? Why did I choose VA panels over IPS? IPS has a deeper color gamut. It looks great. It looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it suffers from bleeding, light bleeding. So you'll have colors that just bleed. Yeah.
Huh.
VA.
Oh, okay, because of the refresh rate.
Yes. VA has the highest refresh rate out there. These monitors are 240 hertz.
Oh yeah. Okay, you're at that refresh rate. Yeah, I've only had 120.
Sorry. So you're making a lot of sense, because if I ran 120 on these monitors, then I would get ghosting. And ghosting is when you see a car and the picture is not fast enough to refresh it out of the picture, because the panel is old tech, but it's the best one for color accuracy, and that's what I wanted. So there's a trade-off. OLED is still king, but we got burn-in, and we're running these monitors. These VA panels can stay like that. They'll never get burned in, ever.
Yeah.
They could be there all day. It's the same type of monitor that you have in your job that's on all day, and it just works. But OLED is probably the best color, the darkness, the blacks. It's the prettiest picture, but you got to be really careful with those with that type of monitor. They're getting better, especially LG. LG has technology inside the monitor to shift the pixels from one side to the other, but it's not perfect. You know what I'm trying to say? So
yeah, especially that's one thing that, thinking about sim racing cockpit, you're racing and you're in the same car. I guess it's kind of different if you're hopping from game to game and more casual, but if you're like in a car, you're trying to get faster, you're on the same track, the same elements are displayed pretty much the entire time you're in the rig. So that HUD, the elements of the car, and all of that stuff, you definitely run a higher risk of burn in if you're a more serious racer. But if you're more casual,
this is true. Things kind of do shift around in the cockpit, like they'll bounce around. Yeah. But I mean, I'm running these at 100% brightness. You do that on an OLED panel, you're asking for it, bro, big time. Yeah. So, but awesome. I think that's
talk about that.
That I know. I love talking about monitors. I mean, I was driving Jeff crazy when he was shopping for ones. And guess what? He still didn't listen to me. He went and bought his own thing. But they worked out. They worked out.
I like them.
They worked out. He did his research and they worked out. They actually look really nice. I like the way they look. I'm being 100% honest with you. They're 34s though, right? Those are 34s.
No, 32s.
Oh, they're 32s. Okay. Yep. I thought they were 34s. Anyways, guys, that's about it. I mean, that's about it for today. Is there any save round alibis, as my buddy Jeff says? I stole that from him. Yeah. Any round tables that we need to address here before we shut this one down?
Real quick, I did want to touch on the email that we got from 11. The subject is Simagic, and he says, "Hey guys, I'm diving deeper into the Simagic rabbit hole and was wondering if Eric has any input on ACC specifically. In my research online, I've been seeing that the wheelbases aren't working well with that title on PS5. Any input would be appreciated, even just an email response. Thanks." Well, Drew Funk, I can actually speak to that. So in my experience, I have the Simagic Alpha wheelbase, the 15 Newton meter GT Neo wheel. Sometimes I use the GTS wheel as well. P1000 pedals, and ACC works great. Like, it makes me kind of not hate GT7, but it makes GT7 feel like I'm driving Mario Kart sometimes. Just the amount of force feedback and the detail and the strength and all of that stuff. It's great using the Sigma Cortex converter. There was an issue with the latest beta update, though, where if you install the latest beta, then you'll have some issues where the wheel just kind of like goes full tilt to the right. But if you step it back to the next to the latest beta,
We'll
I
add that in
haven't
the
had that
description
issue.
there.
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
the
that
specific
version
version
number.
number.
We'll get
Yeah.
that from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you join you say you've been doing research, or you probably join one of the Simagic Discords, but there's one Discord that specifically has a section in there for the Sigma converter and what, you know, firmware versions kind of have which features and kind of the nuances between that stuff. But like I said, my instance, I haven't raced ACC a lot. I mostly race GT7, but whenever I feel like hopping in ACC, I hop in, and it tends to work great.
All right, man. Hey, thanks, Eric, for that. That's kind of nice that you're on the PlayStation to help that side of our community. The console community is a strong one, and I'm actually happy for you because that Sigma converter has been going strong, man. It's been going pretty good for a few months now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, little hiccups here and there when you first got it, and that's it. You know, pretty
Yeah,
good.
it was kind of finicky. It did have some of those PC issues where my laptop
Hey,
wasn't
man,
picking it
listen.
up.
Here we go.
But I went to my.
You know, I'm gonna make
Well,
a
it might be more of a
compilation
Windows thing.
of all
Probably
the
a Windows
times.
thing.
Jeff, remind me to do that. And we're gonna release we're gonna drop this video on you, bro. But anyways, Jeff, what you got for us, man? Anything else?
No, I did update the. I just want to give the lovely Dash integration into SibHub now is awesome. This update came out a little while ago, but I'm just getting back from Singapore and getting into it, and I got it on.
The
It's cool
plugin,
that you
right?
could.
Got the plugin?
Yeah, you can put images on your DDU, all that other stuff.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Shout out Constantinos. That's badass.
Yeah.
It's cool. Moving the ball forward. The guy's always doing something, some kind of cool stuff. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, man. We need to get you onto the Daniel Newman stuff, bro. That's what we need to.
I do. It's probably going to be, especially with the new wheel.
That's the problem, is the wheel. And I need to mention that, is that not every wheel is compatible with its profiles. So for the GT Neo, though, you can use it for the Neo.
Mhm.
Yeah. But this ambient lighting, bro.
I saw that's cool.
I don't know if you checked out the episode yet, Jeff, but the ambient light
with the flags and stuff.
I need to do a demo because I didn't believe in it. I mentioned this on the episode. I'm sorry for bringing it up again. But that is the most exciting thing. I can't stop looking up or to the side where my lights are. But anyway, that's just me being crazy. Anyway. Anyways, guys, thank you so much, man, for coming out again. Again, the full squad is back in full speed here. And I'll keep you guys guessing our new VIP guest. We're not going to reveal that yet, but it's going to be a doozy. So stay tuned. And again, email us any questions, comments, concerns at thechicanepodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube at Track Goes Sim Racing, where all of these are in video format. And you guys be safe. Thank you so much, and have a great start of your week.